Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do the usual disclaimers, if you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please pay close attention in particular to the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much. They threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic refused, so you know the drill, folks. Please read that article. Share it on all your social media. Also included is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC actually does see through with their threat. Trigger warning 1: when we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you can hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones. Trigger warning 2: this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is very much advised. All right, folks, where we left off. Further confounding factors and uncontrolled conditions make it very difficult to attribute JRC's observed improvements in behavior to the GED device or draw any conclusions about its effects. In other words, because they did not put all the fail-safes in place like is done with any other clinical study, they can't make any determinations using that data in regards to the effectiveness of the device. Pretty simple, right? That's straightforward. Makes sense? Yeah. For example, according to these records, most of the individuals on the GEDs received concurrent treatment with various forms of behavioral therapy, including positive behavioral programming and various residential reinforcement programs, counseling, and functional communication training. In other words, because they were undergoing other forms of treatment during that time, you cannot say whether it was the GED device or the other parts of the treatment program that were causing the decrease, right? There was no controls on that. So, with you not knowing whether it's the GED device that got the behaviors to stop or one of the other parts of the treatment program, again, the poor trees that had to come down for this waste of paper. Poor things. Just saying. Without adequately controlling for or adequately documenting the formulation, application, and effects of the other behavioral intervention components, it is difficult, if not impossible, to differentiate the effects of the GED from effects from the behavioral treatments. In other words, since these treatments are running concurrent with one another, there's no way to tell of whether it was one of the more positive behavioral approaches that assisted in the change of behavior or whether it's the GET device. Because they didn't allow for things like that. They didn't flesh it out the way they should have. You see where they're going. Additionally, these records indicate that the JRC targeted different behaviors during different time periods. As a result, many of the tracking charts show high variable behavior, in some instances showing some target behaviors decreasing for an individual, while other target behaviors did not decrease for that individual, and thus the shocks continued to be applied. In other words, they're saying there was an area decrease in one of the behaviors, but because the other one didn't go away yet, they're still continuing to torture him. Yeah, right? This makes it difficult to assess overall ESD effectiveness. I mean, that's all fair enough. This is pretty basic stuff, folks. It's literally essentially saying the fact that the JRC is acting as the person doing the study is unethical as hell. And it's not flying, thankfully, when it comes to the FDA, right? Number two, the fact that they did not include, in regards to the effectiveness of the ESDs, the study that they did, that those folks were also receiving concurrent treatment plans in regards to more positive behavioral approaches, because they did not make allowances for this. And because they did not do one part of it where they were just being treated solely with positive behavioral methods, and one when they were just being solely treated by the GED, and then gauging the difference in effect. But the JRC didn't do that, did they? Yeah. And because they didn't do that, there's no way to conclude was it was the positive side or their insanity that caused the change in behavior. Number two, biased. Like, seriously. Number three, the ends don't justify the means, especially when the ends is not a long lasting, long term solution in regards to dealing with the more troublesome and not so fun parts of the diagnosis. And we're going to go ahead and close on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time. If you could, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye bye now.